We'll rock it. All right, our next guest is an absolutely legendary musician, and I refer to him as a musician because that's exactly what he is. Vanilla Fudge released fudged up version of the Supremes classic "Stop in the Name of Love." You can get that now, and a tribute to their bandmate, the legacy of Tim Boger, which we're going to talk all about. Welcome to the show, Mr. Carmine. There he is.
Hey, how
Look
you
at him.
doing, man? Good to
Look
see
at
you. I
him.
like your backdrop there. Nice.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Both of you
So
guys. I mean, look at me. I got to put my green screen up here.
Yeah, but yours is better. You got a drum kit. You got gold records. I mean, what more do you want? Come on.
Well, that's all natural. That's not a picture.
Well, there you go. Why would you want to go fake? It's like
Yeah, there you go.
now are those the Rod Stewart ones, the Aussie ones? Or like, what's going on
I
back
don't
there?
have Aussie ones. I should get an Aussie one because I did work on Bark at the Moon, but
Yeah.
I'm sure Sharon will never give me permission for that. But I was talking to somebody today and I realized I had a gold and platinum blue murder in Japan. And
Nice.
I'm trying
Oh,
to figure out
wow.
how to get that. So that's interesting. But I got I got a double platinum rod. I got rod here, another rod there. I got Pink Floyd. I got up there is up here is that's what's his name? Paul Stanley. There's
Nice.
Rod
Great, the
over
solo
there.
record.
There's Tommy Boland over there. There's my
Wow.
guitars up there. There's who else I got up there? A lot of Rod. I got Pink Floyd down there, and I got even got the Bullet Boys because the
Really?
Bullet Boys were in King Cobra, and they stole some of our songs when they went to be the
Wait,
Bullet
wait,
Boys.
wait. Hold on. First of all,
What?
I listened to Blue Murder this morning as I was walking the dog, but I also listened to a Bullet Boys song yesterday walking the dog. So
What song?
yeah, well, I listened to an acoustic version of "Smooth Up in You" and
Smooth
on
Up In You was a song that was a King Cobra song when those guys were in King Cobra.
really, and they
Yeah.
grabbed it and they
And
so
they grabbed it and they did it. And For the Love of Money was my idea to do. That became the second single. And we were doing it with King Cobra and a few other songs that ended up on their album. And they know I was really pissed off at them because in the press I was killing them, you know. And I had a release party for King Cobra 3, I think, at my house in Northridge. And Mick showed up with a gold record.
wow. Now
Wow.
I
was
know
it
you pissed at us for this stuff, but I hope this will make up for it. I said, well, it didn't make up for the royalties, but I'll take the gold record. Thank you.
okay? So there was no
Right.
lawsuit or anything. They sort
No,
of they
no,
made
it's just-
good. It was a handshake.
They tried to make good, and then
Okay.
I ended up still being friends with them, you know.
Okay.
I mean, I even named the bass player Lonnie Vincent because his
Okay.
name was Lonnie Miller. And
Really?
my manager was Alan Miller. I said,
Look-
dude, you can't have the same name as the manager. So,
Wow.
what's your middle name? He goes, Vincent. I go, how about Lonnie Vincent? He goes, yeah, that's cool. So
Yeah,
he's
there you
Lonnie
go.
Vincent. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
just like in Kiss, you couldn't have two Pauls, or when Eric Carr was there, three Pauls. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's
Wow.
let's talk about this Vanilla Fudge. You're going to do a bunch of shows,
Yep.
and is this are we deeming this like the farewell tour, or is just we're gonna go to
No,
these
this
shows and
is,
have fun?
That's a good idea, though. We'll probably get more gigs. But this was just gigs, you know, that we're gonna do. But unfortunately, this single was really started as an album project in 2019, and then COVID upset everything, and we couldn't do any more recording. And then Tim got ill and really sick, and you know we know he didn't know how long he was going to last. So I came up with my idea to get Tim on it, you know. And now that we got Tim on it and we're doing it, we're sort of looking at it like Vanilla Fudge hanging on opened the book
Mm.
for us, and Supremes, this one, Stop in the Name of Love, closed the book. It's the original band. I mean, who do you know from a band that's 1967 that has a new recording that has all original members?
Yeah.
Nobody.
No one.
Nobody.
No one.
Nobody. So we've done another first.
You
We've
have.
done a lot of firsts in our career, and this is the last time
Did
that
did
we've done
you
another first.
did you manage to stay friends through that entire time, or were there periods where you just didn't talk to each other and then said,
There were
"Ah,
periods.
yeah.
There was a lawsuit at one point with Mark Stein brought against us because me and Tim were doing Vanilla Fudge without him, and but he originally when that started happening, they did it without me as well. But I found out about it, and they were going to do a gig in Japan in the '90s, and I was in the '90s in Japan a lot. I had Guitars was going there. I had a group called Pearl. I did a child Bogart and Appice later on. I went there with Jeff Watson and Bob Daisley in the beginning of the 90s. I spent the whole 90s there because the grunge was taking over here.
Right.
And we were like dinosaurs. Nobody wanted to work with us, record companies or gigs or anything. So
it's funny how the world changed, because you could literally
Yeah.
fly off to Japan and go be your own, like,
oh, it was
Vanilla
unbelievable.
Fudge or Cactus, and nobody would hear about it. Now with the internet, you can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But then,
So I was in Japan doing some other gigs with Pearl, and I heard that Vanilla Fudge is coming over there with Vinny, Tim, and two other guys. So I contacted Tim and I said, "What are you doing? If Vanilla Fudge got a big name here, you come in here playing a little crappy club, you know?" So the manager I had got involved, and he moved it to a bigger venue, got me involved in it. We got more money just for me, And then from that, we went back to New York in early 2000s, and we started playing gigs, but Mark Stein didn't want to play with it for some reason. It was me, Vinny, and Timmy. If it had him, it would have been the original band. And so we started doing that, and we did great business. In Westbury, we did 3,000 people, and we were playing Atlantic City. We were getting great response. And then Mark put an injunction on us, which started a lawsuit. And then we ended up settling it, where he got a percentage of what we did. But we had to ask him every year if he wanted to play. And he never wanted to play. And then Randy Pratt, who was our benefactor, paid for the attorney and everything. And then in 2005, maybe, I forgot what year it was. But Tom Vitorino, the manager we have now, said, "Hey, look, I called him because he was managing the Doors. I said, if Phil Chen was playing with the Doors, I said, I'd like to play with the Doors maybe, And he said, why do you want to play with the Doors? You got Vanilla Fudge. Why don't you just get Vanilla Fudge back together, So he had a meeting with everybody and worked it all out. And we went on tour with the Doors of the 21st Century. And we were playing sheds all through the summer. And then their drummer put an injunction on the Doors, using the name the Doors of the 21st Century. So that was the end of that. But we had played a bunch of gigs. We played with Pat Travers.
I saw the Doors of the 21st Century at either the Bell Center or the Molson Center, or whatever it was called. Now, was that the one with Ian Astbury, or was that the one with Michael?
It was great. Yeah, with Ian. It was really good. And we played with them, and it was a great show. We were right under the Doors. Sometimes we went out and I played a song with them,
Wow. So I must have seen, I saw that show, so I must have seen you on that bill.
Well, it might have been. It was the summer of, I don't know, 2000. I don't even remember, 12, 13, 14, somewhere like that.
Who do you think made more money out of all of that? You guys are the lawyers.
The lawyers. Lawyers made all the money.
Yeah, because it seems like a big waste of time in reality.
It wasn't a waste of time, but anyway, we became friends. So we've been friends since then. And then we realized, everybody's going to go off on tangents, and everybody did it. Timmy did it in the 70s. Tim Bogert did in Blue, everything we had going. And then I never really did it. Vinnie Martell did it in '84. We had a new deal, and he wouldn't listen to Spencer Proffer, who was producing it. So we brought in a session guy. So when the album came out, he put an injunction on the album so it wouldn't come out. So that was Vinny. And then Mark did it in the 2000s, and me and Timmy broke the band up because we were going to go with Jeff Beck in the first place. So it's been going like that, the whole career.
Roller coaster.
To be fair, you didn't have to go out and do that because you were too busy with Rod Stewart and with Ozzy Osbourne and with Ted Nugent, and so you didn't have to go do this. You were busy.
No. And then 2005 we did Cactus.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was talking to Eddie Van Halen about doing the Fudge in 2001, and Eddie says, F the Fudge, bring Cactus back, because they love Cactus, And we did in 2005. Oh yeah, they were a big fan. Hot for Teacher was if you put Hot for Teacher on and put our song Parchment Farm, you'll hear the same kind of groove. And if you put our song called Let Me Swim, the beginning of that, and you put Eruption, it's the same.
Wow. I'm going to have to go listen to that.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to have to do an A.B. video.
Do an A.B. video. That's what we did that this morning, yesterday morning with the Fudge, this song and Hanging On. And the guy said after hearing, he said, A and B, they said, I can't believe it. Here it's 55 years later, and this guy's still singing like that.
Wow.
Emotional and powerful and soulful. I said, yeah, he never lost his voice. 74 years old and he's killer.
Well, let me ask you, since you mentioned Eddie, he was influenced quite a bit by Michael Schenker, and you had a chance to be on the Temple of Rock album with Michael Schenker.
Yeah.
In terms of guitar playing, you know, you've worked with some of the best. How do you sort of, I don't want to say rate, but how did you sort of get a feeling for what Michael was doing? Because I just think he's brilliant. What was that experience like?
Well, I mean, Michael's really good. The only thing I didn't like about Mike, he never moved.
Right.
He just stood there like this.
Shoegaze.
You know, and he played great, had a great feel, and you know, it was a very different feel from playing with like Ted Nugent or Jim McCarty or Jeff Beck or, you know, any of the guys I played with. You know, I jammed with Bonamassa. You know, we were going to put a Bonamassa Bogart Appice together.
Wow.
You know, before he made it big. You know,
Wow.
and
Joe's great.
Joe's great, but Michael plays like a German, very regimented,
like a tank, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like driving a Volkswagen. It's like a tank.
I went over to Germany to play on the Accept song, and as I played it, and I don't play like that. I play like an R&B guy.
But what's he missing? Is he missing the feel? Is it like
it's just regimented,
robotic?
Boom, 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 very robotic. Same thing over and over, and very robotic. I don't play like that. So I was there 3 days. They paid me, but they said, "I'm sorry, it's not working out." I said, "I know, I could feel it." I said, "It's not right," because they want like chicka 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 chicka, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't play chicka 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 all the time, you know.
You just mentioned Ted. Does Ted play with a looser feel? I mean, when you're doing a show and he gets into a jam, do you know where it's going? So does he sort of just go off on his own?
Yeah, all the bands like that. Blue Murder, Ted, Cactus, all my bands. Vanilla Fudge, Jeff Beck. You know, we all played with an improvising feel, and you just feel where it's peaking. And usually, I, as the drummer, do the big drum feel to take us back to where we're going.
Yeah, somebody gives you the
yeah. I mean, you can see how they're playing. You can see their expressions.
Well, it's funny. I was watching a video of Prince playing in Englewood or something like that a couple of years ago before he died, and like just like you could tell the whole band like they're just so good, but it's almost like as if they didn't rehearse this at all, and like Prince just like he just directed the band, said, you know, just the beat, play that groove. Okay, just the bass line, and like he's just calling out. He's calling out, and like
that's because Prince played everything on the albums.
Yeah,
and you know, I don't know if you read my book, but I have a chapter about Prince. When I lived in a house, I was getting divorced, and my friend Jamie, who worked for the management at Prince, Cavallo Ruffalo and Farnelli managed him, and she said, you know, I needed a place to live for, you know, just to hang my hat, put stuff in. I had a girlfriend I was staying with anyway. And so she needed some money for her mortgage. So I lent her some money. And I said, no, I just need a bedroom, blah, blah, blah. She goes, well, we manage this guy named Prince, his new punk funk. And sometimes when he comes to record in LA, he stays at my house. I said, that's cool. I said, I'm not going to be there half the time. And so I ran into Prince in the house. Okay.
Wow.
Before he was big, and I'd come out and go, "Hey, Prince, hey, is that a new track?" I'd come in from my girlfriend's house. He'd be in the living room with a den playing a track, and he said, "Yes." You know, that's it.
Just yes.
Wow, that's good, man. Who's playing drums? Me. And you're playing guitar too, and you say, and the bass. So wow, and you sing. It sounds great. You know, and then I'd do my business. I'd come back another time, and you know. And one time I walked in my room at night. He was in bed with Vanity, you know. So I mean, it was pretty wild time. And then he played with the Rolling Stones at the Coliseum, and they booed him off the stage. And he came back to the house. He was so depressed. So me and the girl Jamie, we sat down, had some coffee, and I said, "Dude, don't even worry about that, man." I said, "Vanilla Fudge got it when we went and played with the Mamas and the Papas. They booed us too." But we told them, we're going to play whether you like it or not. We came 3,000 miles to do this show. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But we hope you like it.
We're still getting paid.
And then we played, and by the end of the show, they liked it. I said, so it didn't hinder our career that we got booed. We
No.
went and had gold records, and so don't worry about it.
You know, the boos have to be motivating when you're an opening band. You got to say, okay, boo us, fine,
I
but
mean,
we're going
Led
to prove
Zeppelin
you.
got booed off with
Huh.
Vanilla Fudge on the first show. Didn't hurt them. I told them that too.
Wow.
Hey, let me just quickly ask you about the. Now, are you Appice or Appice? The Appice
I'm a
Perdomo
piece.
Appice. Yeah,
I'm
your
a
brother
piece.
gets it wrong all the time. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But this new project with Fernando Perdomo,
Yes.
for
Awesome.
folks that are hearing about it, this is going to be maybe the first time. What is it's all instrumental, right?
Yes.
So where did you find Fernando? Who is Fernando?
Fernando is in that Netflix documentary called Echo in the Canyons.
Yep.
He's in that. He's playing on stage with them. He played on the record. He played with Clapton and all those people.
Oh, wow.
And he's just phenomenally talented guy. And before Tom Dowd passed away, Tom Dowd was planning to work with him. And he knew him ever since he was younger, and he was in high school in Miami when Tom he lived in Miami, Fernando. And Tom went to his school to talk about production and everything. And Fernando was like right on him, man, and he just got to know Tom. So I had moved to Florida. I was setting up a studio here, and I got a call from Tom Dowd's wife and daughter, and say hello. So I haven't seen them in ages, and they live here too. And they said, "Look, there's this guy named Fernando Perdomo Tom was working with. He wants you to play on a couple of tracks that he's doing because he had these solo deals with Cherry Red over in England, and he would sell 1,000 records, something." So I said, "Okay, if Tom loved him, he must be really good." So I said, "Have him call me." So he called me, and he told me all about it. And I said, "Well, it's funny enough. I just set up my studio, and I need to start recording in it, and I need to know how to work my studio." So he goes, "Well, do you have anything you want me to play on? I could send you stems." I said, "Well, I have some stuff on my iPad, some instrumental stuff. I'll send you a couple of tracks, and you send me the stems back, and let's see how you do." So he sent me the stems back for the first track, and he was phenomenal. I said, "What are you playing on?" He said, "I'm playing everything." I said, "Wow." And the bass was great, the keyboard was great, and the guitar playing was great. So I put the drums on, and I sent it back to him. I asked him to do a couple of things. He did, and sent it back to me. We went back and forth. It came out great. Then he had a guy to mix it. He mixed it, and it sounded phenomenal. I said, "Let's do another one." So we did another one. He's Latin. He's from Cuba. So he sent me one called Little Havana, and I played it. And it was kind of like a rock, jazz, Latin kind of vibe, but heavy. And I said, at the end of it, I said, "You need something else." So I did this thing like parchment foam, like Hot for Teacher at the end. And I sent it back to him, just the drums. I said, "I did a bunch of accents and a bunch of different things. Play along with that, see what you come up with. And it could be like a cool addition to the song." So he did, and it was great. It was really great. So now we called it Little Havana, and my part was called Big Havana, and
Nice.
and then we just started recording, and now we got 18 songs recorded, and we did a rock jazz version, reggae version of "Do You Think I'm Sexy" instrumental, and then we
Nice.
did "Maybe I'm Amazed" instrumental with big gospel harmonies behind it, So really, we did 2 covers, and the rest, the other 10 songs are original.
So
Oh,
when
wow.
is this
They're great.
when is this
They're
stuff going to
great.
come out?
Well, this comes out on. I actually have that in front of me. September 24th, it'll be released from Cleopatra Records. So
And we did the first single, which is out now. It's called "Rocket to the Sun." You can see that on YouTube.
Yep.
And it's by A.P.P. Perdomo Project. So I call it A.P.P.
Right.
And it's
Which
the
is,
album is called Energy Overload.
Overload. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. See?
And now we're doing another video for a song called "Flower Child," which is a song I gave him just a drum track, and he used the dynamics of the drum track to write a whole new song.
Wow.
To write a whole new song, and it's called "Flower Child." And we're doing it. We already cut all the instrumental stuff, for the video, but we found this young girl that does stuff on the internet, on YouTube. And she did something that she looked like a flower child. So we contacted her, and she's going to cut some new stuff for our video. And we're going to have it out and ready to go for the release of the album on the 24th.
Awesome. That's really
And
cool.
That's really cool. So, and the other thing is a famous singer I know, a female singer that we did on our show, Hanging and Banging. I sent her Flower Child. She wanted to hear something I'm doing now because she wants me to play on her record to see if I could still play. And I sent her that. She loved it so much. She goes, "This is an instrumental." I said, "Yeah." She said, "I love this. I want to write lyrics and melody to it. Is that okay?" I said, "Yeah." And she still sells records over in Europe, you know. I won't say who it is, just in case it don't happen. I don't want to be
It's
looking
Adele.
like an idiot, you know.
It's Dua Lipa.
Yeah, so no, it isn't her.
Carmine, real quick, to talk about drums for a second, because you've played drum kits for the last 6 decades.
Yeah.
And thinking about the evolution of the sound of drums through the years. I mean, you went from the organic sounding drum kits to the Linn drums and the Fairlights of the 80s, and now everybody's using the same drum samples on their Pro Tools. Do you think the quality of drumming has significantly declined over the years?
Well, the quality of drum sound has.
Yeah, the quality of drum sounds.
Yeah, because now it all sounds the same, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
It all sounds the same. It's like, you know, if we sometimes use a drum sample on a bass drum or something, we mix it in with my bass drum sound so you can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it still sounds like my big fat bass drum sound. You know, I mean, I still record like I recorded all the time with room mics and make it sound really natural.
Organic kind of sound.
But drums, like I'm using these 1970 Ludwig bass drums that I used in Cactus, and a 2004 Slingle and snare drum, and D drum tom-toms. It really depends on the heads and how you tune, and what the drum is made of. It's a thin shell or a thick shell. Thin shells sound better, you know.
Right.
But a lot of these drummers today, they don't play with the kind of soul that we played with, the soul from the head.
True.
Everything's the same. They got an amazing bass drum technique. I got to say, unbelievable, you know, double bass drum technique. But they play that every night exactly the same. That, to me, you know, that makes it really boring if I had to play the same thing every night.
Yeah.
Playing a gig, you know.
Out of all the records that you've played on, and I mean, you've worked with some incredible engineers like Andy Johns and all these guys. Out of all the records you've ever played on, what's your favorite drum sound that you've had?
I got a few. The Blue Murder drum sound.
Yeah, great
Bob
albums.
Rock and Mike Frazier.
Yep.
The BBA drum sound was awesome. What's the other one I played on that I really liked? I just had it in my head, but it went away. But Andy Johns with the Rod Stewart band, like Hot Legs.
Yeah.
There's a song called "You're Insane" on the Blondes Have More Fun album. No, it's on the first album, Footloose. Amazing drum sound.
Yeah.
And the drum sound of my Guitar's record, awesome drum sound.
Those drums on Hot Legs, man, talk about a locomotive. They're just so good.
People thought I wrote the song because I played that drum sound. You know? I told Rod, you should give me part of that song, man. The drums are the drums and the vocal. That's the
whole song.
You know?
Yeah.
No, they made up for it when I wrote "Do You Think I'm Sexy" with it.
Well, there you go.
By the way, the band Buck Cherry has covered Hot Legs, and they crank it with that sort of metal style.
Listen, Hot Legs, man. There's certain songs that's like when I'm DJing my parties and all the Mohawk moms get on the dance floor. Hot Legs, You Think I'm Sexy, like they're just dance floor fillers still to this day.
Yep, you love them. Hey, I want to ask you a question now. The album Camouflage. Now I know you didn't play on it. It was Tony Brock from the Babies who played on it. Yeah. It is one of my favorite Rod Stewart albums because it came out at that time in high school when I was buying records, and you had left the band by then, but I hear fans always say it's his worst record, it's a horrible record, it's his version of The Elder. Have you heard it? Do you like it? Do you think?
No,
I mean, are the fans right or am I right?
I think you're.
I like it.
You're not right.
No.
I think the best band that he had was the band that I was in, that did Hot Legs and all that. But that band was
of course.
amazing.
But some guys have all
And
the
Tony
luck. Is a
Brock
great
was an
thing.
okay drummer. He played that English style. And as Rod wrote in my book intro, he said I fired Carmine. Fuck knows why. Because
Well,
we were great together. Because
Yeah.
he used my drum solo to go change himself and get freshened up and come back, and he looking like a brand new guy. And that was the whole idea. And I used to do a lot of press because he didn't like to do local press. And we got along great. And one time we got in a limo and Rod was kidding. It was just me and him. He said, "Oh, it's a drag being a legend." And I said, "Yeah, I know what you mean." He slapped me 5 years. "You're the only one in the band that could say that." I said, "That's right. That's why we're together, brother."
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go blast Hot Legs, and Mitch is gonna go blast Twisting the Night Away, and we're having a party.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna go blast Some Guys Have All the Luck and Infatuation. I love that album. I mean,
Infatuation is Dwayne Hitchings wrote that song.
of course, yeah.
And I brought Dwayne into the picture. So that was written with the same lick that we did on a song called Party Tested by Derringer and Appice in 83. Okay, if you look up Party Tested on YouTube by Derringer and Appice, and you look up Camouflage, and you play them side by side, you'll hear the same groove and the same keyboard part because Dwayne wrote it, and he wrote on both tracks.
He did. And we've got to check out those Van Halen comparisons too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then me and Dwayne are also on the Rod Stewart, Jeff Beck, People Get Ready.
Damn.
We're on that as well, and that started in my house when Jeff was staying with me.
Learning a lot of stuff this afternoon. I'm loving this.
Yeah. You got to read my book, dude. You got to read the book.
I got it.
And the great thing is of course Carmine was on a lot of these records, but he also ghosted on a bunch of records. So there's a lot of great stories in that closet. We just got to open that closet and get all the stuff out.
Yeah, there's a lot of closet there.
I'll ask you this: when you do a ghost thing and you sign the NDA and stuff, like at some point, like 50 years later, can you say what you played on, or is that you have to take it to the grave?
Well, I mean, I didn't really ghost on anything. I like this thing with Jeff and Rod. We just went and did it because Jeff was staying with me for 2 weeks, and he was just lost his girlfriend. And he came to LA, and we partied, went to the Rainbow every night. And then he said, "Could we do some music?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go to Dwayne's house." And Dwayne had a studio, so we started screwing around with that. And that lick, do 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 do, that was Dwayne's lick. That wasn't Jeff's lick. Dwayne came up with that lick, and we played. Jeff played it, and we put the track together. And then I said, "It sounds like People Get Ready," because I used to sing with the Fudge, and I started singing it. And he goes, "Yeah," and we all said, "Wow, it is." So Jeff said, "Why don't we try and get Rod on it?" So me and Dwayne, from working with Rod, we called Rod up and we told him about it. And I had originally gotten Jeff and Rod back together. We were in Australia in a hotel together, and they were enemies. And I said, "Come on, guys, you adults here, let's get together,"
Yeah.
So Jeff came to the gig and he made up. So from that, they were friends again. And so we called up Rod and we played him the track. A week later, we're in the studio. I had Jeff and Rod in the studio. I was like the producer. I had the earphones on. Rod, you sing here. Jeff, you play there. And then the manager of Jeff's called and said, "What do you want?" I said, "Look, I don't want anything. I never got paid a dime. I don't want anything, but I want the production credit, whether it's 4 of us produced it or me and Jeff or me, Jeff and Dwayne or whatever." It comes out, it says, "Thanks to the boys." And that was my credit.
What?
Yeah.
What a rip.
I mean, I could tell other stories, but it's all in the book. You got to read the book, Jeremy.
I got to get the book. Yeah, absolutely.
You read the book, didn't you?
Yeah. We did an interview about the book
exactly,
a while back.
Mitch, I'll come over and I'll borrow it.
There you go. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Are you guys live around the same area?
We do.
Yeah, he's like 20 minutes from me. Yeah.
Oh,
and Jeremy's got his radio show that he's got to get to, but there we go.
Where's your radio show? What station?
It's called the Beat 92.5 in Montreal.
Oh, nice.
You'll like this, Carmine. They have won 25 straight ratings books. He is our #1 on-air personality in Montreal.
Beautiful.
And you also do Toronto now.
Dude, you got to play. You keep me hanging on. I mean, Stop in the Name of Love.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and squeeze it in between Dua Lipa and Post Malone.
Well, you can squeeze it
Is
in on the
and-
Toronto
and
station.
you could use some of the A.P.P Perdomo songs as bumpers. You know, if you're talking, you can play it in
Right.
the background.
Use them as beds. It's instrumentals. Why not?
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Well, Vanilla Fudge, their new cover of Stop in the Name of Love is available now wherever music is available. And make sure you catch them on the road. They're going to be hitting the Arcade Theater in St. Charles, Illinois on September 30th. And
No, they
dates in.
canceled.
Oh, they canceled that one.
Yeah, they're moving it because of COVID.
Well,
Because
there
of
you go.
The other theater, they couldn't get it, so they're moving it.
I'm looking, I think the closest gig to us, Mitch, would be in Sugarloaf. So maybe if the border's open by then, we'll go catch that show.
Yeah, come down. Come on down.
Absolutely. I'd love to
Let me
catch
know.
that
We'll
show.
put you on the list.
Absolutely. Would love to.
And by the way,
Only if you use bumpers by the app, and only if you play the song. Then we'll put you on the list.
I'll definitely send you the air check of that.
There you go. Okay.
By the way, I became buddies with Pete Bigiani from We're Kodiak online. He's a drummer and we've been connecting. So I'm looking forward to that record. You got any scoop on when that's coming out?
I tried to manage him, and I got him a couple of deals, and they got their lawyer involved, and the lawyer blew the deals.
God.
And now they're like waiting for the lawyer to get him a deal. It's been like 5-6 weeks, you know. And I told him, look, dude, you got to start somewhere. You can't have a lawyer going after stuff. You know, you don't have a following, so he can't be asking for this, that, and the other thing because you don't have a following.
Yeah.
Let's start it somewhere, get it going. You know,
Yeah.
I've been working with them for 2 years, and we finally got it to the point where, you know, they were going to release the record. We had a Christmas single ready to go. We had all kinds of stuff, and I'm sorry, you know, I think lawyers they blow a lot of deals.
Lawyers are arsonists disguised as firemen.
Yeah, you're right.
There you go.
Anyways, all right, Carmine, it was so great to meet you. I'll let you go.
Always a pleasure. Anytime you've got a project, just reach out. We are more than happy to support and,
got it.
and
Of
chat
course.
with you.
And by the time we chat next time, I'll have read your book, and I'm sure I'm going to have a ton of follow-up questions.
Okay, that's good. Well, we'll do that when the Guitar Zeus box set comes out in November.
Oh,
Perfect.
That sounds great. And
Okay.
of course,
I'm in.
Energy Overload by the A.P.P Perdomo project, September 24th, 2020.
And for short, just app.
App, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The
Download the app.
Download the Energy
Download
Overload
the app. That's actually a good way to promote that, you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Copyright.
I like
I want
that.
a producer credit.
I'm gonna tell Cleopatra that.
Yeah.
Download your app now.
Jeremy gets a producer credit on that, or the lawyers are going to start.
I don't even want it to. I no thanks to the boys. I want that producer credit.
There you go.
Thank you,
All right,
Carmine.
I'll let you go.
See you guys later. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.